Well, hello once again, everybody. What is up? How's everyone doing? How are you? My name is Kevin, and this is the Chord Progression Podcast. Yes, this is a podcast brought to you by my song of the day, Rock 2000 to Today. And yeah, that's all, me. So, woo, gotta plug that stuff. Today is, April 9th, I believe. Yeah, April 9th. We'll go with that. So I got a good amount of stuff to talk about. Unfortunately, no guest this week, so you're just going to hear my ramblings on, kind of like Bill Burr, that one guy. That was a horrible impression of anybody, so don't take me as a freaking comedian or any kind of, impressionist or whatever. I do have a good amount of stuff I do want to dive into today, all music related, maybe some stuff that's even my song of the day related, so let's go have some fun. But first, before we start out anything, I gotta do what I call shameless plugs. So shameless plugs is everything that if I've got stuff going on, yeah, I'll tell you about it. So if you're listening to the Chord Progression Podcast on Spotify, on iTunes, or on Google Play, or hell, if you're listening on YouTube now, thank you. Just thank you. If you're a returning listener, thank you. If you're a new listener, welcome. Feel free to tell anybody you know that loves rock music from the years 2000 to today, whether it's rock music, hard rock, punk rock, pop punk, metal, metalcore, grindcore, anything around that. Yeah, because that's what we're all into here. Well, I'm all into here, I should say. So if you want to be a part of that, just tell your friends, yeah, listen to the Chord Progression Podcast, or follow us on Facebook, because we got our Facebook page. We got our Twitter account, where that's where we really like to talk to you guys about what's going on in music. Follow our Instagram page, which is doing okay. I mean, I think we're almost at 1,400 followers at the point I'm recording this. Hopefully, we're over 1,400. So hopefully trying to get to that 10,000 mark there by the end of 2019. Even though it's April, yeah, I think I might be able to hit it. I just got to throw more money efficiently at it. So that means I got to promote this a lot better than I already am. YouTube, yeah, YouTube videos, we got them. My song of the day, Rock 2000 to Today, is the YouTube channel, so you're going to want to check that out. Go subscribe to it, because I'll do my top 10s on stuff. I react to stuff, album reviews, band reviews, answer some questions, all that kind of fun stuff. So go check it out, and, maybe you can be in a video with me at one point, or maybe we can collab on something. Who the fuck knows? And last but most importantly, yes, this all is built off of the My Song of the Day Rock 2000 to Today Alexa skill. So you're going to want to enable that skill on your Amazon Alexa device, because it's a new song of the day every single goddamn day. You can listen to it anytime during the day, and the next day, yeah, you're getting a brand new freaking song. And I'm sorry if that keeps kind of like bumping against you, because, my hat keeps bumping against my mic and my mic stand there, unfortunately. But yeah, so any of that stuff. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, the Alexa skill, anything. That's all going to be in the show notes, so you can just quickly click on those links, and then you can go follow us if you're, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, all that jazz. But enough of the shameless plugs, because I know you guys don't want to hear any more shameless plugs from myself, because, yeah, that just ain't fun. So I got a couple of things I really want to talk about this week. So let's start out with some new music, because, yeah, there's always new music coming out. Last week we had a plethora of new music, and there are some I will get into from last week, because our buddy at the Corey Kid on Instagram sent us his quick review and quick take on the Whitechapel album that came out last week that I really didn't go that much into, mostly because I am not a big fan of the type of music that Whitechapel has, because it's more death metal, where you have a lot of unclean vocals, very dark, deep, and just very baritone. I think it's baritone. I don't even know what the ranges are. I'm running this shit, but yeah. It's just very screaming, just very oriented when it comes to the vocals, and that's just not something I'm big into. When it comes to metalcore, though, where you have that in the verses, but then when the chorus comes around and you have more clean vocals, I do really enjoy that. It's just personal preference, folks. So I know I didn't go much of the Whitechapel album and much of Whitechapel sound, but I think this, if for you Whitechapel fans, might really get into it. But on April 26th, yeah, we got a new album coming out, which we're definitely doing an album review on, by New Year's Day. Yes, New Year's Day. Yes. They're coming out with their Unbreakable album. Again, April 26th. That's a frickin' Friday. So about 2.5 weeks from now? 2.5 weeks? Yeah. Or 3 weeks? shoot, yeah, 2.5 weeks. You know, it's screwed. So before this past week, they had 2 singles out, Skeletons and Shut Up, and I'd been talking with some people, and they were kind of skeptical on how that was going to go. They thought, I like kind of what they're doing, but I wish they would go harder, and that was kind of my sentiment as well in between Skeletons and Shut Up. Now, when I was doing our live stream on Wednesday, April 3rd, a couple people in there were pointing out that New Year's Day was going to come out with a new single. They teased it for Friday, and it was called Come For Me. Now, of course, I'm like, oh, you guys got to send me the name of that because I didn't know what the name of it was at that point when it's coming out, and gave me a preview, and I thought, oh, this is interesting. I asked them what they thought of the preview, and a lot of people said this is what we were hoping that they were going to go with because it is a lot harder of a track than Skeletons or Shut Up, and it kind of fits more into what they had been doing in years prior. So naturally, on Friday when it came out, you know what your guy did. I listened to that shit like 5 or 6 times because I got to get the real feel of the song. If you're going to talk about a song, if I listen to it once and just kind of spew off on it, yeah, you're not going to really want to hear what I have to say because it's like, oh, you listen to it once. You got to let it, simmer and marinate. So yeah, let it simmer. I let it marinate. I let it get into me and literally figure out, what is going on. Do I really like this song? What do I think of it? And after listening a couple of times, yes, that is a piece of legal paper. I've got my notes. So, did I think that it was correct when I heard other fans say, yeah, this is harder than the previous stuff on Unbreakable? This is a harder sound instrumentation-wise, melody-wise, and singing-wise from Ashley Costello than they did in Skeletons, they did in Shut Up, and I gotta tell you, abso-fucking-lutely it does. This, so far, out of a single from the Unbreakable album, this is my favorite one by far. Because it just has this harder tone to it. It doesn't have this... It has a more metal tone to it, which I was really kind of hoping for from this band. Especially after Skeletons and Shut Up, it had more of a hard rock tone, which when you're coming to New Year's Day, it had more of a metal tone to begin with, and I don't mind bands going with more hard rock tone. But I just kind of just didn't hear a lot of that in Ashley Costello's voice. That was really the biggest thing that was keeping me from the Skeletons and Shut Up tracks, is because I was thinking of her vocals in that as more of a pop-centric or a pop-oriented sound. And I'm not saying, singing like, some mumble rapper or some like Lady Gaga type shit. It just sounded like it was a little bit more towards what would be a more mass audience style, singing style and vocal pattern. And I just wasn't a big fan of it because when I first heard of New Year's Day, they had this kind of metal feel, and Costello had this specific voice that worked really well. And I just thought for the first 2, it just wasn't necessarily there. But in this one, does this all turn around? Oh, hell yeah, this is what I wanted, because it was her vocals are still clean. They're not, unclean with the, you can still clearly hear what she's singing about. You can clearly hear it, but they were a little bit harsher than, the vocals that she did on Skeletons. A little harsher than the vocals that she did on Shut Up. More in tune to what she has done in the past. And again, let me tell you, this was a move that I absolutely loved here, because this is the song I've been waiting for on this album. And if you're going to listen to the album, it's going to be the song on the album that comes in right away when you first listen to it. If you listen to it from cover to cover, this song is going to be number 1 on there, and it's going to start off with a bang for sure. It's because it has a more metal feel. Not necessarily a metalcore feel, but a metal feel where, again, you're going to listen to Costello's vocals. They're going to be a little bit harsher than the rest of the songs on the album up to this point, because the album has not been fully released yet. However, they have a little bit more of a harsher tone to them than the previous one, so it does create that metal feel. And it doesn't have that metalcore feel because you're not doing a lot of those screaming and those throat screams into the verses. It's still rather clean. And I gotta tell you, this chorus is a pretty damn good chorus. It's like the come for me. I mean, I probably did that horrible, but I mean, if you guys want to take a listen to it, please listen to Come For Me by New Year's Day, because that is exactly what I've been hoping for the band and hoping that they've been doing with the Unbreakable album. Now, again, the question comes in, is this going to be something that is going to be a trend, or is this going to be the blip on the radar for this album? Because so far, again, we've got 3 singles, and we might get one more before the album's released in 2.5 weeks, but I probably am going to say they're not going to, because why would you? You got 3 singles out there, let it ride. And out of them so far, I hope that the rest of the album does flow the same way that Come For Me did, because I love the way it flowed. Yes, I actually don't mind Skeletons as a song. Shut Up is a little bit of a song that I find rather annoying and pedantic. However, again, Come For Me is a song I've been kind of waiting for from this band on this album. And I thought, you know what? They actually did a pretty damn good job here. I hope they continue on the momentum, because New Year's Day has the potential to actually be a much more breakout artist with something like this. And I get, again, Skeletons and Shut Up might actually put them more in a pop, into more of that rock scene, that, you know, they'll gain some popularity there. But come on, keep coming with Come For Me. Keep coming with that kind of song style. Keep coming with that kind of instrumentation and those vocals from Ashley Costello, because you're going to get some great stuff off of there, and the fans are going to go goo goo gaga for all of that shit. You got to keep doing it. So again, in 2.5 weeks, I cannot wait to listen to the Unbreakable album when it's fully released. Will I be doing an album review on it for our YouTube channel? You better believe I will be. Will I go in deep with it? Yeah. Will I talk about it on the podcast immediately after the release? Yeah. Will I talk to you guys on Twitter about it? Hell yeah. So don't be afraid to, tell us your thoughts, because I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts on this album. And I'm hoping to get at least one guest on here. I have a guest in mind for this to really talk through the album once it comes out on the podcast, so you can get another listener's perspective on it outside of my own, because you guys just don't want to hear me ramble on and on and on there. So yeah. Alrighty, I got another one for you when it comes out to new music, and I got to look at my phone for this one, mostly because when it comes to my phone, I've got to look at Instagram, because I know that the review is there. So, our friend, his name is Thy Corey Kid, ThyCoreykid. I will put his handle in the show notes as well, because he's the guy that said, hey, you guys might want to check out the Whitechapel album that came out on March 29th. Now, me, I'm not that big of a Whitechapel fan. If you guys listened last week, you know that I'm not the biggest fan. If you listen to the podcast, before this little segment, or the segment on New Year's Day, just because of the fact that I did bring it up with Whitechapel. Hopefully it's Whitechapel. Yeah. So, I'll let you know what Corey thinks about this. So let me go read this verbatim. Yeah, I'm going verbatim. Don't worry, it all fit into a simple DM on Instagram. So this is exactly what he says. The Valley, Whitechapel's 7th studio album, and possibly their most unique work, while still having the more melodic style as we've seen on Mark of the Blade. This album takes it and reworks it completely by putting different styles to it and making each, while they are heavy, still have those beautiful melodies that makes this album complete. This album also takes Whitechapel in a different direction lyrically. While each Whitechapel album has always been great lyrically, this album takes a deeper look into Phil's outlook on his life, and also basing each song to a different story that follows the Valley, which, if you don't know, it refers to the Tennessee Valley. Well, I actually didn't know that, so thanks. Overall, this album is extremely unique and quite frankly amazing. I recommend every single one of you give it a listen. Okay, that is the Thy Corey Kid's review on it. Again, verbatim, except for me pointing I didn't know about the Tennessee Valley stuff, because I really didn't. I was unaware. I was unaware at that point. So, let's keep going into it. If you are a fan of harder metal, more death metal, do I recommend that you listen to Whitechapel's album based off of Thy Corey Kid's review? Yeah, I would definitely recommend you go listen to it if you haven't already, just because it's only been out for about a week and a half now. It's coming up to 2 weeks. I know a good amount of you, if you have listened to metal and if you do like the album or the band, yeah, you've probably listened to that album already. But in the grand scheme of things, do I think that it's definitely an album that maybe we should, go further into? I'm not going to go further into it myself, just because that's not a style that I am a big fan of. That's just the way it is, guys. I'm sorry. Actually, no, I'm not sorry, because that's just the way it frickin' is. But do I think that if you guys have a chance, should you go take a look at that album if you like metal? Yeah, because he literally puts it all out there. If you're a Whitechapel fan, if you think this is the best album they've come out with in a while, well, yeah, I agree with you. I did look in some more of the lyrical content on The Valley, just because I wanted to see, what exactly did Corey mean when he said, looking at Phil's outlook on life. And yeah, you can tell that this album is very much more on a deeper scale than some other albums that have come out in the past, not just from Whitechapel, but from other bands as a whole. Do I think they go as deep as Architects did with Holy Hell? No, because this one's we're looking at Phil's outlook on life and his life in general, where Architects Holy Hell went so much more into the death of Tom Cyril and, you know, how the band went through the 5 stages of grief, which again I thought was done utterly to perfection. And Architects Holy Hell's album came in at number 2 on our 2018 best of list for best albums, only falling behind Beartooth's Disease for that number 1 slot. But if you guys are big into heavy metal, death metal, give Whitechapel a chance with The Valley. I think you guys will be pleasantly surprised. One other thing I kind of want to go off on, because it was something in the news that was a little bit more in tune with where I am not just in life, but also geographically, is I've talked about this before, I think, on the podcast maybe once or twice. I've brought this up at different times, but based on the fact that, yes, I am based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and we have this thing every year around, end of June, beginning of July. They've been going on for 50 plus years. Yes, it's Summerfest I'm talking about. So why am I bringing up Summerfest? I'm going to bring it up for a couple of reasons. First off is because there was some big news that happened in rock music today, or actually not today, I should say. It happened over the week. But there was supposed to be a band that was going to be headlining. I thought that would be fun to see, especially because somebody that I work out at the gym said, oh man, you got to go see him. You got to go see this. So I thought, oh shit, who do I have to go see? Because I'm pretty interested in seeing what it has to be done. And what the hell's my computer doing? Okay, I just had to fix something real quick, my bad. But they were telling me that there was a artist that was coming on July 4th that wasn't yet announced, but I had to go see. I'm like, okay, guys, who the hell do I have to go see? And it's Ozzy freaking Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness himself. And I thought, fuck yeah, I gotta go see Ozzy. Are you kidding me? He's playing on the 4th of July. Yes, it's going to be more expensive because at Summerfest we have the general admission tickets, but then for the big headliners at the amphitheater, yeah, you got to pay extra. But that's where Ozzy was performing. I thought, shoot, I got to go see Ozzy, and I didn't buy my ticket yet. Luckily for myself, I didn't buy a ticket yet because, as many of you rock fans, metal fans know, Ozzy Osbourne has postponed all of his 2019 concert dates, and that also includes the July 4th show in Milwaukee at Summerfest. And I had to look into it, why are they doing this? Why is this happening? And apparently it's all a health issue, which, I do understand. It's Ozzy Osbourne. He's not a spring chicken anymore. He's older. He's been around since, the frickin' 80s. 70s even, maybe with, definitely 70s with Black Sabbath. The fact that I just said 80s, it's like, 80s more solo career, 70s with Black Sabbath, of course. So I had to correct myself on that piece of shit, thing I said. But, because basically the reason why he has to cancel all these dates is because he's been battling pneumonia beginning part of the year. And then he fell at his home and re-aggravated some really old injuries. And that required frickin' surgery. I mean, I get it. The guy is a lot older. I do understand that. Battling pneumonia, and I hope a speedy recovery. I really do hope a speedy recovery because you need to have the Prince of Darkness performing. It just makes music a much, much better scene, and it makes everything go much better. So, Ozzy, wish you a quick recovery, man. Hope for the best. But now that you're pulling out of Summerfest, which not too happy about, but again, totally understand, you're leaving a giant hole when it comes to Summerfest in Milwaukee. And now I got to start ranting about this because we're in the beginning of April. Summerfest always starts about last Wednesday in June. So we're about a little under 3 months out. The lineup for Summerfest always comes out from whatever I can frickin' remember, middle of March. So, again, we're in April now. Where the fuck is this lineup? I'm getting rather concerned here because this is something that's not good. Why would it be? This is something that's not good at all. I'm taking a look at the headliners too that have been announced because yes, they announced the headliners, and just take a listen to these because you're gonna think, oh, maybe that's not so bad. But for a rock music fan like myself, and maybe for your guys' stuff and the metalheads, you're going to think this is absolute trash. Okay, they've got Thomas Rhett, The Outlaw Music Festival with Willie Nelson. It's Willie Nelson. I'm not going to really give him that much of, but I'm not going to want to go to that show just because that's not my kind of music. Jason Aldean, stop with the frickin' country. Just stop. Bon Iver, nope. Zach Brown, man, come on. More country crap, get the hell out of here. We got Lionel Richie with you saying, hello? Is it me you're looking for? No, I'm not looking for you. I'm looking for some rock music and some heavy metal music to come into Summerfest. And Jennifer Lopez, come on. I know I get the fact that Summerfest is, a lot more diverse when it comes to music because, there's, thousands of bands that play there. And you want to make sure you get every single crowd. But the fact of the matter is you're really starting to alienate this hard rock and metal crowd that basically kind of built Summerfest up to the point it was. The Killers are going to perform there, and I might go and stop by and try and see that show because, alt rock kings, the Killers, I think they're actually rather fantastic, especially with that Hot Fuss album, and they've had success overall, and I think they're a good band. I just not necessarily if that's going to be the rock token that we get, no. And then last, we have Lil Wayne, Snoop Dogg, and Schoolboy Q. That's not something I'm going to go to just because it's not my style of music. I know a lot of the people that are going to want to go see that show. But as you can see, they're really honing in on the pop music and the country music here at Summerfest. And the ground stages, the free stages, which normally get announced by this time, actually a couple weeks ago, they normally get announced. Where the fuck are they? I'm getting really freaking concerned here because I'm wondering, do they even have a good lineup in place? Are they trying to frantically fill slots to appease the 16-year-olds who are going to go there and try and get everybody that's around them? Hey, we're 16. Can you buy us beer? Hell no. I'm not buying you freaking beer because beer's like $9 there. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not moving from where I'm trying to see, especially if it's a show I want to see. No, screw that. And the thing that gets me mad about Summerfest is because I haven't gone that much in the past couple of years because of the variations in lineups. A lot of what's been happening is they've been kind of going very much further away from getting a lot of different types of artists there and making sure that a lot of different types of music are well represented and really honing in on a very select few groups. And the select few groups they're really honing in on for a rock music festival where they call it the big gig is country music and pop. And yes, that when it comes to pop music, you're gonna get the attendance because the kids are gonna come. The kids don't pay crap in money. When you get to the country music fans, you're gonna get the country music fans to come. And yes, they'd love to spend the money. And again, I totally understand it, but you're really gonna alienate a good number of crowds because when it comes to hip hop and rap, I will give hip hop and rap a little bit of love here, just because they're not that as well put out there either. I have seen Ludacris there beforehand. Yes, I have. I have seen Ludacris at Summerfest before, and it was actually not a bad show. Sure, my brother's girlfriend almost got into a fight with a guy, and because this guy was trying to push his way through and push her, and he's like 6'5". My brother's girlfriend's like 5'2", 5'3". It was getting it, and this guy wanted to pick a fight with her. Even the guy's buddies were like, if you try and pick a fight with this girl, if you start something, we're not getting in it. I mean, we even talked about this shit too. After this guy got pushed off, this guy and one of the guy's friends and myself, because it was my brother's girlfriend, I was there with her and my brother. But the other one that really kind of starting to really alienate and have been for the past couple of years are the rock music fans. Because I was even looking at last year's lineup and I didn't really even give a crap to see anybody. I think the only band I thought, I wouldn't mind actually seeing them was POD. That was it. I mean, I remember times where there were bands or I wanted to go every freaking night if I could. I mean, when it comes to Summerfest, some of my greatest memories and some of my greatest concerts I've seen have been at Summerfest. That's where I first saw Hollywood Undead for the first 2 times. I saw Rise Against there for the first time and saw them there 3 times, with that third time being one of the more influential, probably the most influential concert I've ever gone to in the grand scheme of what has become my life. I've seen the Dropkick Murphys there. I've seen Shinedown play for at least some portion of their show because I think my buddy wanted to leave. Who else did I go see for a rock show? Shoot. I mean, there's a good amount, but those are the ones that really stick out in my head. I saw Young the Giant, which is even more alt rock. I saw Imagine Dragons before they sold out, because this is like 2012 when I saw Imagine Dragons, so they opened up for Young the Giant. Who else did I freaking? Or that was 2013 even. So this was off of the Night Visions album. So that's when everyone was really into them, because they had a different style of rock music, which actually was pretty good. I've done a video on it, and I said that album was pretty good because it was all right. After that, everything went freaking south, and south hard. I saw Rush at Summerfest. Yes, I saw Rush. Now that was a good show. Rush put on one hell of a performance. And I've seen other bands there as well, here and there. I've seen some good rock. I've seen other good rock bands, but they're really kind of just like pulling away from those rock bands, because there are a lot of times where I remember back when I was, in high school, even when I was in college, when I saw the lineup come out, I was like circling days, like, I got to go see this band. I got to go see this band. I remember times when, I was in it was either my freshman year or my junior year. I think it was my freshman year. I'm sitting in the gym at the University of Minnesota lifting, and all of a sudden the Summerfest lineup comes out, and I'm scrolling through it to see who the ground stages are. And now, actually, it's my junior year. I remember this exactly because it was 2016, and I pull up. It was like ground stage headliners announced, so I had to take a look. First ground stage headliner, didn't care about. Second one, Rise Against, and I thought, this is great. I'm good. I looked through the rest of it. I said this lineup was freaking made just because they put Rise Against there. That's all that mattered to me. But then lately, it's just, I look at the lineups, and it's a lot more country music, a lot more pop music, EDM, little more hip hop and rap than I would think. But when it comes to rock music, they're just not putting it out there at all, and it really just honestly sucks. It does, and I'm just really waiting for Summerfest to come out with their freaking lineup, because I'm getting frustrated with it. I really am. But when it comes to music festivals as well, just because I'm thinking about this, one thing that came out this week was, of course, one of my favorite bands, even though when it comes to the rock music and everything and metal, they don't necessarily really fit into that category anymore. But if you listen to them, circa 2005, 2006, they easily fit into the rock music category, is 30 Seconds to Mars. And you guys know I really like the band. I saw them play in Vegas in 2017 at the iHeartRadio Music Festival, and they only gave them like 10, 15 minutes to actually perform, and that really just absolutely sucked because they only played 3 songs, and they gave The Weeknd like 30, 35 minutes. Come on. The Weeknd just stood up there and sang, and Jared Leto was still running through the crowd every chance he got. That is entertainment, not just sitting there just saying, I'm a star boy. Screw that. I also saw 30 Seconds to Mars twice in 2018. Well, 2 concerts, because I was at Camp Mars in 2018, which was a freaking blast. And if you guys seen anything when it comes to some of my social posts, and I've talked about this before, 30 Seconds to Mars this year is doing Mars Island, which is Camp Mars, but they're doing it on an island in Croatia. And am I going to that? Yeah, I'm going to that. I had my ticket. I can tell you the whole story, but I don't think anyone wants to hear that, because one thing they announced today, though, or not today, one thing they announced earlier this past week, I think it was on April 2nd. Yeah, it was the day after April Fool's Day. Camp Mars is going again. They're doing Camp Mars again in 2019 as a surprise. We're still doing Camp Mars in Malibu, and they're doing it in the weekend after Labor Day. So I think it's early September. So for you football fans out there, it's the first weekend in the NFL season. And I've been talking with my friends, and they're going to, and I've got 2 friends that we were supposed to, all 5 of us that we met at Camp Mars last year, we're supposed to all go out to Croatia, go to Mars Island, and have a kick-ass time. Well, 3 out of the 5 of us are going. I'm one of them. When it comes to the Malibu one, now that it got announced, the 2 guys that couldn't go to Croatia, they're going to Malibu right now, which is, I'm just glad they're able to still go. And one other person is still trying to go to Malibu as well, and I hope she goes, because that's always a fun time. And if you are a 30 Seconds to Mars fan, I am going to highly implore you to go to Camp Mars, because it is fun as all hell. And I would not, it's like, I could have, maybe not go, or maybe I could, I could have used that time somewhere else last year or this year. But am I still going? Better fucking believe it. And one thing that I kind of want to bring up that is because earlier this weekend, I ended up finally watching that documentary on the Fire Festival that's on Netflix. Yeah, you guys all know what the Fire Festival is. I'm not going to go into it because a lot of people are asking me about Camp Mars being on an island in just outside of Croatia, saying, "Oh well, were you afraid it's going to end up like the Fire Festival and you're going to get stranded out there? Oh, you think it's going to be like this? Oh, are you scared? Are you scared?" I watched the documentary. I'm going to tell you this: there is a tremendous, and I mean tremendous, amount of difference between that dumbass Fire Festival and Mars Island, which is going to happen. First off, these guys have freaking done it before. This Camp Mars 2019, when they do the 10th anniversary of the This Is War album, that's going to be their 5th time. Count it, 5th freaking time doing this. And they've been talking about doing it in Europe as well for the past, I think maybe 2 years or so. So when it comes to having plans in place, and when it comes to having building materials ready to go and making sure that everything is set and ready to go for, when people actually arrive there, are they going to be ready? You better freaking believe they're going to be ready. This is a band that has experience doing stuff like this. You go back to that Fire Festival, they had no idea what the fuck they were doing. All they cared about, they knew how to promote the hell out of that thing, though. My freaking God. When it comes to social media promotion, yeah, they absolutely hit the nail on the head. But if you're going to promote like that, you got to deliver. And when it comes to 30 Seconds to Mars with Camp Mars, did they deliver in 2018 when I was there on what they promised and advertised? Yeah, they delivered. Do I think they're going to deliver once again? You better freaking believe they're going to deliver, just because that's what they're known for. That's what they do. Yeah, sure, they show up late at concerts, but that's always a classic Jared Leto thing. Just, yeah, I'm like, oh, where the hell are they? Like, yeah, it's always Jared. He's always late to shit. Kind of funny. But do I think that's going to be, a Fire Festival thing? No. Do I think it's going to be another Camp Mars experience where it's going to be absolutely amazing and just one of the best times you'll ever have? Abso-fucking-lutely, and I cannot wait to go. Let's see, what else do we have there? One other thing I'm getting frustrated with lately, and because I know I was getting frustrated with kind of people saying, oh, that Mars Island might turn out like the Fire Festival, and frustrated with the Summerfest lineup, is just because I'm kind of going on those rants and kind of getting frustrated here. One thing I've really been getting frustrated with lately is my live streams. So as you guys know, every single Wednesday at around 9 p.m. Central Time. So if you guys are on the East Coast of the United States, that's 10 o'clock your time in the evening. And if you're on the West Coast, that's 7 o'clock your time. If you're in Mountain Time, you know exactly what time it is. I don't even need to say it. 8 o'clock. But I've been about like 15 or 16 episodes now, and they started out really good. I mean, I was just talking music with people, connecting with people, and everything seemed to be going okay. Over the past couple of weeks, things have changed on the live stream. And at first I thought, okay, that's actually not the worst thing because, of course things are going to change. It's an audience show, so I kind of let the audience run the show, which maybe is why I'm getting frustrated because it turned from talking about music to people just kind of shit posting with each other and shit posting towards me. Now, trust me, I don't mind the shit posting in the comments. I don't mind taking the shit posting because I know it's just people, sitting behind their freaking phones or their keyboard saying, oh, I'm going to come and do this to you. I'm going to come and do that to you. Where do you live? I'm like, I'm just not going to, I'm going to let those questions either roll off or I'm going to have some fun with them because that's just the way to do. Because in the end, I mean, I'm not going to try and lose sleep over this because their opinion about that kind of stuff does not matter to me in the slightest. But where I'm getting frustrated with is because when I actually try and have a conversation on my live streams with the active Instagram users, I'm trying to get it on Twitter as well. But when I have a conversation with those users, the biggest issue I'm coming across is I'm honestly just getting really annoyed with not being able to have a conversation about music. This is called My Song of the Day Rock 2000 Day. Even though the podcast is Chord Progression, the whole entire thing is My Song of the Day Rock 2000 Today. I want to talk about music with you guys, whether it's new music, whether it's music you like, music you hate. I mean, I just want to talk music with you guys because I want to gain perspective. I want to give you guys my perspective. I want to have an actual legit interaction with my audience. And I have developed some very telling followers and very determined followers based off of that live stream. And I'm more than happy about that because some of them I talk to a good amount. Some of them I talk to, here and there. But I still talk to them and I do value their opinion. Like when I read the Whitechapel review by Thy Corey Kid, he's one of our guys that pops in and out here and there on our Instagram live streams. And I love talking to these kind of people just because you're going to give me a new perspective on certain kinds of music, and you're going to give me new ideas. You're going to give me new music to listen to. You're going to give me new bands to give a shot at. You're going to tell me about new music that's coming out that I might just kind of not necessarily know due to the fact that I'm so ingrained in trying to make a lot of this stuff work along with my full-time job and, hitting the gym and trying to, just live life by my own and on my own terms. But when I would enjoy, look forward to Wednesday nights and I was able to sit down on this, uncomfortable chair and have my camera posted right in front of me with my computer running, mirroring the phone screen so I could look at the comments and talk to you guys and answer your questions. But it's really frustrating and difficult when all that shit posting is happening because I just can't stand it. I want to talk music, but sorry about that. I want to talk music, but it's really hard to talk music when everyone's calling each other names and just kind of shit posting. So I might give the live stream maybe one more shot, two more shots, and just to try and get it back to that music style and just kind of, okay, what do we talk about music today? What do you guys want to talk about? What's going on in music that's really interesting you? What is your predictions for this upcoming album? And if you really think that album is going to be shit, you want to talk shit about, the album or the people who are producing it or the band, that's the kind of stuff I want to talk about. Or if you really like it, that's the stuff I want to talk about. I want to get some perspective, get some insight from everybody. I want to make a freaking goddamn community all around this shit so that we can talk rock music and we can feel free to talk about rock music in any way we want. And if you like a band, tell me you like a band. If you don't like a band, tell me you don't like a band. If you think a band is utter crap, fine. If you think they're the best band in the world, go for it. But tell me why. And if you're just going to come on, to just say, oh, you're just going to shitpost and just kind of be an annoying little prick, and no, that's not you, real Satan, because you are a good guy. I enjoy, because you're basically one of the guys that really, helped the live stream get to a certain point, because you and Evie were always going back and forth with each other on bands like Black Veil Brides and just, and you and me are always going back and forth with each other on bands that you like, the bands that I really don't like, but then, vice versa, bands I like and bands you don't like. That's the kind of stuff I like. It's the stuff I don't like is, I think this past week we had some guy come on and all he was doing was just shit posting, and I'm just trying to, roll with the punches. But it's really hard because all I want to do is really talk about rock music on these and talk about metal music or just music in general, maybe some fun stuff in life, but it's a question and answer show. Don't give me some crap. So I'm just getting frustrated with it. I have to vent off a little bit, but that's kind of the state of the live stream right now. So I'm thinking about ending it, but we'll see what happens there. I found something interesting, especially with last week's Sunday being WrestleMania. No, I did not watch it because I'm not into that anymore. I got a lot of friends that are, but something popped up on my Instagram feed talking about WWE wrestlers who are metalheads and talk about their favorite bands. And I was looking through it, and it's like, of course, everyone knows the biggest one when it comes to WWE, when it comes to loving rock music and as a metalhead, it's Seth Rollins. And I'm not going to comment on the match because I didn't watch. I don't know what happened, and I really don't care to really go into it because I know I'm going to end up probably sticking my foot in my mouth if I say something, whether it's between the match between Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar. But there are other different people that really like metal and wrestling as well. And the thing I like about when it comes to some of the wrestlers that really flaunt it or really like metal, they're not afraid to flaunt it. Triple H is one of them. I mean, he comes out to Motorhead. He asked and let me to actually make a song for it, and they killed it. And then there's some that are, a little bit more reserved or a little bit more behind when it comes to what they're doing with rock music or what they're doing with their fandom on metal. It looks like here, Stephanie McMahon, one of the heads of the freaking company, Triple H's wife, loves Metallica. Why don't we see them more often? Why don't we see them more often? They're saying Charlotte Flair, one of the top WWE women's wrestlers who was in that women's main event between her, Becky Lynch, and Ronda Rousey for the women's title at WrestleMania. Again, not commenting on it because I'm not watching it. Loves the Red Hot Chili Peppers. That is awesome. Why don't we see more of that stuff? And then they kind of went through, I found another one, a list on Loudwire, 25 awesome celebrity metalheads. And I had to look through the list and I said, okay, I want to see who I like on the list, who surprised me on the list, and what bands are they listening to, and what's the biggest thing that I really see about this. And I'm just going to run through some of the lists. I mean, Jim Carrey's on here. Demi Lovato is on here because she's a huge Bring Me the Horizon fan. I'm like, whoa. You know, I'm curious. You know, why don't we see more of that stuff? Margot Robbie is even on here talking about how she loves Slipknot. I mean, that just kind of makes her a lot cooler than I thought she was beforehand. Couple more. Nick Cage. Well, yeah, Nick Cage. You can totally tell the kind of personality is definitely a metalhead. Let's see some other guys. They got Post Malone on here liking Metallica and Rage Against the Machine. And I know he has flaunted that. Sir Christopher Lee. And he actually sang in a metal band at one point at the later on because he has such an impactful voice. We know Lady Gaga actually does enjoy some metal because she did a performance with Metallica at the Grammys. We're not talking about how bad of a performance that was on everybody's side. Look what else is there. Michael Fassbender, loving that 80s metal. Norman Reedus also on the list with big Motorhead kind of guy. Joko Widodo. The president of Indonesia loves grindcore, and I can't believe it. I love it. You got Cameron Diaz loving Iron Maiden and Ozzy and Whitesnake. Steve-O with his whole entire thing about, I mean, if you listen to the Joe Rogan podcast, the episode they had Steve on, he goes into the whole Motley Crue story, and it is freaking phenomenal. We got Prince Harry on there saying he's got some stuff on his iPod, but like, dude, who gives a crap? Little Uzi Vert apparently is. I mean, I know he loves actually Marilyn Manson, which is kind of cool. Let's see who else on the list that I could really put out there. Dolph Ziggler, another WWE wrestler. One of my favorite comedians, probably my favorite comedian, loves rock music, is an old school metalhead, plays the drums, and that's Bill Burr. I already made a horrible Bill Burr impersonation earlier on, but again, I love it. Seeing who else is on here. Mike Piazza, former catcher for the New York Mets. Another wrestler, Braun Strowman, talk about how he's a huge Tool, Metallica, Alice in Chains fan. Now, where I'm trying to get on this one is, I didn't know a lot of these people actually loved metal. I knew about Lady Gaga. I knew about Bill Burr, 'cause I always listen to his podcast every Monday and Thursday. Yes, I do. So, don't think I don't listen to other people's podcasts. And I was aware of Post Malone and actually aware of Lil Uzi Vert. But I wasn't necessarily aware of some of these, like especially the actresses. I was not aware of Margot Robbie when it comes to female singing. I was not aware of Demi Lovato at all being a metalhead and loving Bring Me the Horizon. I thought that was, insane. But then that got me thinking, why aren't they really living their truth when it comes to being in the media and talking about their type of music fandom? Now I get it. If they like other types of music, totally fine. But that would be insane for rock music and for metal music if these pop artists or these actresses or actors or celebrity chefs even or some other people would really come out and really, start I'm walking down the street and wearing a freaking Slayer t-shirt. Or, walking on the street, like, wearing Slipknot, Disturbed. I could just go on and on forever with bands, but if you get more people like that to just flaunt the band's material and really flaunt what the band is doing, how much better would it be? How much better could rock music be in the forefront? And then you don't have to listen to all this mumble rap crap and all this, SoundCloud mixtape shit on the freaking radio. Granted, I don't listen to the radio at all myself. I'll plug in my trusty dusty iPod. Yes, I'm freaking old. And I still use a goddamn iPod. But I'll plug it in, I'll play, whatever the hell I've been listening to. I mean, lately, let me think what I've been listening to this past week that I've been plugging in so I don't have to listen to the freaking radio, because I don't know what's any artists or songs that are popular right now, because what am I listening to? I've been on a huge 30 Seconds to Mars kick. I've been listening to Skillet, Rise Against. Who else have been on a kick? A 3 Days Grace a little bit. Yeah. Mostly 30 Seconds to Mars. That's kind of the kick I've been on. Yeah, and usually when I listen to 30 Seconds to Mars, I kind of get into like this more, thoughtful contemplation, really looking at life, kind of what's been going on in my life, period, stage, phase, whatever you want to call it. But why can't more people in popular culture flaunt their love for rock music and for metal music? Don't make it freaking taboo, because we all love it. We all want to see it. And then we could listen to it more. Get some great music out there and not have to listen to mumble rap. And yeah, I'm kind of over my rant on that one. Kind of just going off on ranting there. This is kind of more of the rant podcast. And is that a precursor for something? Is a rant podcast precursor for something? Oh, maybe it is. Go over to our Instagram page and find out, because I got a little announcement about ranting to make on April 9th. Yeah, because that's the day this podcast comes out. It'll be out about somewhere between 7 and 8 o'clock at night Central Time, so you guys are aware. But I want you to go over there and check out our little ranting announcement. Alrighty, that's enough for a horrible laugh on my end, because God, that was bad. I cannot laugh. Evil, worth a damn. But honestly, that's going to be it for me, guys. That's going to be it for me, because, well, that's just what I'm going to say. So I want to thank everybody again for hanging out with me, listening to me for the last, 45-ish minutes about rock music, from the My Song Gave Rock Tells into today, chord progression podcast. I got to stress the chord progression podcast. Again, follow everything that we got below, because that's some good stuff. Let's see what else we got. Of course, we going over a lot more stuff as we go along. And I've got a lot of things coming up for you. A lot of fun shit on the way. So, again, all the stuff's in the show notes, all the stuff you need to follow. I want to thank you guys for listening. Listen to my ranting there. And you know me, I end all my podcasts, YouTube videos, IGTV videos, live streams, any kind of video I do, I end the exact same way. Folks, see ya!